This week's new comic book day is going to be a big one. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is the Pull List. It's my weekly video series where I take a look at the coming up new comic book day. This time it's Wednesday, January 10th, 2024. Anyway, we're taking a look at the books coming out. I'm going to tell you what's on the pull list, what's on the chopping block, and what's on the maybe list. Books that I'll be making a game day decision on. Now, this week is stacked. Last week was a kind of a light week for me, and I'm glad I didn't go crazy and buy anything extra because I'm going to need that extra money for this week's pull list. Now, we're going to get all right down into it. We're launching a new universe. We got a new event starting. We got a lot going on. So let's talk about all the books coming out, starting with the book that I am most excited for this week. That is Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics, of course, written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Marco Checchetto. I'm just going to say it like that. Say it with confidence, Kicks. Anyway, I've been, excited about this Ultimate Spider-Man launch since I heard it was going to be a thing. No, I didn't read the Ultimate Invasion series a couple months ago. No, I didn't even read the Ultimate Invasion or Ultimate Universe one-shot a few weeks ago. But it's all good because I'm just going to start with the brand new entry point to Spider-Man. 20-some years ago, we had the launch of the Ultimate Universe. Fresh new takes on characters that we know and love, we're familiar with at least. Last time around, the Ultimate Spider-Man ended up inspiring a movie franchise in the Tobey Maguire universe. So that's pretty cool. This time around, I don't know. I'm not really expecting them to swing for the fence or do anything incredibly groundbreaking, but what they have promised or what they've teased is that Peter and Mary Jane are finally allowed to be married and have a family. So that's something that's going to set them apart from 616 Peter. And that's going to be really, really cool. I'm just excited because it's Jonathan Hickman. It's Ultimate Spider-Man. It's a fresh entry point into the ever increasing convolutedness of the Spider-Man mythos. And gotta be honest, there's not been a great Amazing Spider-Man title since I got into comics 5 years ago. Wasn't a big fan of the Nick Spencer era. I'm not a big fan of the Zeb Wells era right now, even though it's had its high points. It's just not quite doing it for me. Maybe this will be the Peter Parker book that finally makes me excited to pull Spider-Man every week. Because certainly Miles Morales is doing its job. But anyway, Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 1 coming out this week with a cover price of $5.99. I'm grabbing cover A. Next up, let's just talk about the rest of the Marvel Comics pull list. So there is one book on the chopping block this week, and that is Avengers issue number 9. Now, I told you guys, it's a heavy new comic book day for me. I'm already, let's just say I'm over budget. I'll give you the total later, but it's already going to be a heavy week for me. And this Avengers run by Jed MacKay has just not quite been doing it for me. Now, I will say this is the second sort of half of a 12-issue story arc that is clearly supposed to be a longer, more epic story with Kang versus the Nightmare and the Dreaming. I don't even remember if that's the name of the team, but it's just a little bit too cosmic and spacey for me. It's just hasn't been crazy exciting to me. It's just hasn't been my thing. So on a crazy stacked week, I'm like, do I really want to buy issue 9 knowing that it's not that great? The only thing that has me oh, maybe I'll keep pulling it is they're going to tie into the fall of the House of X in 3 months. But I'm like, it won't be that important. The Avengers issue number 9 is on the chopping block this week. And by not buying it, I'm saving $3.99. Now, next book on the Marvel Comics pull list, another Spider-Man title. This is Giant Size Spider-Man issue number 1. This is a one-shot. Apparently they're doing giant size issues all across Marvel over the next few months. New initiatives. Woohoo. New year, new comics. But anyway, Giant Size Spider-Man number 1 is written by Cody Ziegler, and it's going to be fun. Now, it's Spider-Man versus Venom, the Dylan Brock Venom, the new Venom. So that's going to be cool stuff that's in continuity right now. Why are they fighting? I don't know why they're fighting. I do know that cover by Brian Hitch is cool, But I think this time around, I'm looking at the cover B by Alexander Lozano. Now, this also does reprint Ultimate Comics issue number 22, where Miles Morales and the Ultimate Universe Venom face off for the first time. Do I need that reprint? No, because I got that book in omnibus format. But really, what's got me excited about this book is the fact that it's written by Cody Ziegler. And Cody Ziegler is killing it on Miles Morales. Speaking of, Giant Size Spider-Man number 1. Cover price on it is $6.99, which is definitely a reason to rethink buying it. But I'm grabbing that cover B. And the next book on the pull list from Cody Ziegler is Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 15. Now this one, it's got art by Federico Vincentini, who started the run and has been an incredible artist on Miles Morales. But this one's got a Miss Marvel appearance. We're in the middle of the gang war. This is a gang war tie-in. Miles needs a little help in Brooklyn, and who better to help than his, champions teammate, Miss Marvel, who is back from the dead and a mutant. Spoiler alert. I should have said the spoiler alert before I said the spoilers, but you probably knew it already. Anyway, Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 15. I'm excited about it. Cody Ziegler just writes a really good Miles. It's just been fun. The fact that Federico Vincentini's back is just even better. Cover price on this one is $3.99, which is a lot more reasonable than the $7 for that giant size Spider-Man. Whatever. I'm grabbing cover A. And the next book on the Marvel Comics pull list, you would have thought this would have made my most excited list, but it's The Rise of the Powers of 10, issue number 1. This is written by Kieran Gillen with art by R.B. Silva. Now, if I was super excited for the Fall of the House of X and Rise of the Powers of 10 sort of event, Fall of the House of X number 1 just kind of took a lot of the steam out of it for me. Like, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad. There were some interesting things that happened, the whole trial of Cyclops or whatever, but something about it, I don't know if it was just the pacing or the art, just kind of underwhelmed. It did not live up to the House of X standard from 5 years ago. But The Rise of the Powers of 10 is going to have art by R.B. Silva, so that's going to feel nostalgic. If you wanted that vibe. He's the same one that did Powers of 10 back in, 5 years ago, 2019. But on top of that, even though R.B. Silva's back, and that's cool, the other thing that kind of gives me pause is Powers of 10 was a series that I wasn't all that like. Powers of 10 is the big brain counterpart to House of X, where House of X is supposed to be like nice action in the present day. Powers of 10 is going to go exponentially further into the future. And it's written by Kieran Gillen. And we just got the Sins of Sinister where Kieran Gillen did go like degrees into the future. And I was just kind of like, what is happening? What is the phalanx? Why am I supposed to care? But I expect it will all tie in together pretty well by the end. So Rise of the Powers of X, number 1. Rise of the Powers of 10, number 1. House of X kind of took a lot of steam out of it, but I'm excited about it. Cover price on this is $5.99. I'm not grabbing cover A. I am grabbing the Mark Brooks connecting variant to go with my House of X number 1. And that's that. Next up, and the last book on the Marvel Comics pull list this week, we are really juicing everything we can out of the X-Men line. This is Wolverine, issue number 41. Wolverine, issue 41, written by Ben Percy and Victor Laval. This is the start of the Sabretooth War. For this entire run, we could not get Wolverine versus Sabretooth because Sabretooth was like locked in a pen under Krakoa. Well, Krakoa's on the run, Sabretooth is free, and now he's free to roam about the country and fight him some Wolverine. And hey, if we're going to have a standalone Wolverine title, if it's not going to be crazy tied into the Fall of the House of X, we might as well get the bloodiest Wolverine book we've ever gotten, right? That's what they're announcing this to be. Listen, that cover by Lionel Francis Yu is amazing. Now, this is going to be art. The art duties on this whole Sabretooth War are going to be split between Corey Smith and who's on it next issue? Corey Smith and Jeff Shaw. They're alternating issues. Should be pretty good. Jeff Shaw did some of my favorite X-Force covers recently. Anyway, they're calling this the most violent Wolverine story ever told. And that's saying a lot because it's Wolverine. And violence is kind of his thing. So, if you're not excited about the rest of the X-Men world, The Sabretooth War is probably a fun thing to get into, and it begins this week with Wolverine issue 41. Cover price on this, $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And that's going to do it for the Marvel books on the pull list. They would have cost me $32, but since I dropped Avengers number 9, I'm only spending $28 on my Marvel books this week, which is a lot. That's a heavy week for Marvel. Let's move over to the distinguished competition and see what's popping at DC Comics, where the first book on the pull list is also a brand new start. This is Action Comics issue 1061. Now, we had the end of the Philip Kennedy Johnson era with the annual 2023 from last week or week before. I don't know. Now we've got Action Comics 1061. This is the start of the whole Superman All-Stars initiative, where they're getting a bunch of like big name writers to do little short stories on Superman. This time around, we got Jason Aaron doing a 3-issue story arc featuring Superman versus Bizarro, an unhinged Bizarro. John Timms on art, who you might remember from the early Action Comics days where Philip Kennedy Johnson was drawing or was writing for Superman, and John Timms was doing art on those. Anyway, pretty cool stuff. Action Comics 1061. We'll see what the hype is about. Cover price on that is $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. Next up on the DC Comics pull list is Batman and Robin, issue number 5. Damian is fighting with Batman. Batman got separated during the mission. Damian's got his own things to do, but Damian apparently is going back to school in this issue, like really back to high school. Now, Batman and Robin has pretty much felt unnecessary to me, but what's kept me pulling it every week is I really love Damian. He's my favorite Robin. And Joshua Williamson writes a really good Damian. And in between that Robin series and the Lazarus Planet and Batman versus Robin and all this stuff, Damian has been like really the Shadow War. Damian's really been getting a lot of character development and leveling up emotionally over the last couple of years, while Joshua Williamson has been shepherding the character. So this Batman and Robin run being the clear next step in that evolution. You do a lot of character work. He went from like not wanting anything to do with Batman and not knowing who he was to now being super confident in himself. And in this series, he's trying to finally kind of prove himself to his dad again. Like, we're getting a nice arc for Damian. It just has nothing to do with anything that we're already reading. And it's just like, why? Anyway, Batman and Robin, issue number 5. It's got a cover price of $4.99. Grabbing cover A. And the last book on the DC Comics pull list this week is from Jeremy Adams. It's Green Lantern, issue number 7. Now, the last 6 issues have had art by Hermonico. This issue of Green Lantern has art by Aman K. Noelpan. I hope I said that right. Noelpan? I don't know. Anyway, it's just a fill-in artist for this one issue. Hermonico will be back. Zermonico will be back. But anyway, in this issue, it is important. Don't skip it, because we're finally going to figure out what happened on Korugar. You might remember this run started with Hal Jordan just being kind of dejected and feeling like a failure. We don't exactly know why. And we got a really cool arc with him and Sinestro. And now we're going to start to find out like a little bit more of what happened in the past. They teased that a Green Lantern died off panel, and now they're going to bring that on panel. I hope it's not who I think it is, but I'm pretty sure it is who I think it is. But hey, guess we're going to see the death of a Green Lantern, finally finding out what happened on Korugar. Cover price on Green Lantern issue number 7 is $4.99. I'm getting cover A. And I'm only getting cover A, but I do have to shout out this incentive cover. It's a 1 in 50, which means I'm definitely not buying it, but it's by Jorge Fornes, and it just has a really cool look to it. The page looks weathered. Looks like there's like a screen tone effect on it. It's just a really nice cover, and I just had to shout it out because one of you guys is going to get it, and I'll be able to live vicariously through you. Anyway, that's that. And that's it for the DC Comics on the pull list. If I stick to the list and don't buy that cover, it'll cost me $15 for the DC books on the list. Now, let's skip on over to the indies, where I got a bunch of books on the pull list, but the first, of course, is a brand new number 1 from Dynamite Entertainment. This is Disney Villains, Cruella de Vil, issue number 1. Disney Villains, Cruella de Vil is written by Sweeney Boo with art by Miriana Puglia. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Now, Disney Villains Cruella, this is going to take place right after the first 101 Dalmatians cartoon. It's not taking any of that like other stuff into canon or into consideration. Now Glenn Close, not the chick from Twilight, none of that. Set directly after the cartoon. And basically, Cruella is trying to increase her social standing after pretty much all of the town blames her for this whole caper with the puppies, even though there was no evidence to prove it. So she's trying to clear her name. And, she might be trying to build goodwill. But all the dogs in the town, they remember what's up. Now, just as an added treat, get it? Dogs, treats. I've got a conversation with Sweeney Boo. We talked all about this issue and her career. That's dropping tomorrow on the channel, so make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know when it's live. And if you're a channel member, it's been live for you for a couple of days, so shout out to you guys. But anyway, really excited for this issue. Cover price on it is $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And the next book on the Indie Comics pull list this week is Transformers, issue number 4. Transformers by Daniel Warren Johnson, with art by Daniel Warren Johnson, colors by Mike Spicer, letters by Russ Wooten. Really, really, really great series. I can't really say much more than that without spoiling it. But apparently in this issue, an unlikely new hero joins. And my speculation is that it's a G.I. Joe character, but maybe it's some random dude from the shadows. You never know. So grab that. Cover price on that is $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And the last book on my poll list this week is an indie book published by Massive, but this is Sean Gordon Murphy's Zorro, Man of the Dead, issue number 1. Now, this was a book that got kickstarted. You might remember a few months ago, they were kickstarting these really nice looking hardcovers, but I just couldn't swing it. I didn't have the money for them. Lucky for me, crazy hardcover prices do not come into effect when this book hits the direct market this week. Zorro, basically, I've never read a Zorro comic, by the way. I remember the Mask of Zorro movie from when I was a kid. But anyway, some kid in present day, whatever city in Mexico, in present day, thinks he's Zorro. He's like mentally he's gone, but he thinks he's Zorro, and that gives Zorro a reason to live in the present day, and he's fighting narcos and whatnot. It just sounds like a really fun premise. I really like Sean Gordon Murphy's art. I love Batman White Knight, and so, hey, this will be cool. But anyway, Zorro, Man of the Dead, number 1. It's got a cover price of $4.99, and I pulled the cover A, but there are like a ton of covers. The cover J by Raphael Albuquerque is the one that I've got my eye on. If I see it in the shop, I'm going to switch it out for that one. But hey, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Zorro, Man of the Dead, $4.99. I'm grabbing whatever cover I can find. And that's going to do it for my indie books on the list. Those will cost me $13 this week in a stacked week. Thanks a lot, Marvel, for $7 comics. But anyway, a stacked week. I'm paying $56. That's my grand total for the comics this week. Now, I only paid $29 for my comics last week because I didn't buy that Moon Knight book. But still, that's a heavy week. And, we're getting a lot of first issue tax over there with Marvel. $6 on Powers of 10, $6 on Ultimate Spider-Man, $7 on Giant Size Spider-Man. I don't know. I might end up leaving that Giant Size Spider-Man on the shelf too. That'll put me back under budget. But anyway, what are you guys grabbing this week? What are you excited about? Let me know in the comments down below. If you are looking for somewhere to buy these comics, you don't have a local comic shop, try Things from Another World out. You can use the link in the description down below to order single issues. If you order them far enough in advance, you actually get a pretty good discount, and quiet is kept. If you wait long enough, you'll get them for like half off as well. I've used them to like fill in my collection at times. $2 back issues, pretty good deal. But Things from Another World, they're available in the description down below. Huge shout out to the channel family for making content on this channel possible. Hope you guys are enjoying the start to the new year. You guys have been getting early access to all the videos. I'm trying to do right by you guys. I really am. Shout out to you guys. I'll see you guys in another video real soon. Until then, stay safe, stay awesome, and read something dope today. Peace.